How important is that?
It's huge. I mean, that's in my opinion, the first thing to go when we get older is the legs.
You were fantastic at posting shots. That was one of you.
Not anymore. Look at that. You'd have to pick me up off the approach if I tried that now.
You had a deep knee bend.
Did.
Yeah.
It also cost me 3 knee surgeries. Tore my left knee up, man. But yeah, I think it's huge to be able to stay balanced and in the proper position at the foul line to repeat shots.
Yeah.
You see guys now when they get to be our age, they start popping up at the foul line. They don't have the legs anymore, and it's hard to duplicate.
They do, yeah, one of two things. They either pop up or they're so bent forward,
right?
Because that's easier on them.
Right.
But unfortunately, they lose leverage and ball rotation. Worst thing you can do is get your shoulders way too far ahead of your knees, and you've lost everything.
Right.
Because you have no swing direction.
Yep. Parker Bohn making a statement to Norm Duke saying, hey, I'm not done yet, sir.
Yeah, Parker needs to put another couple up on the board, put a little pressure on Norm.
You like it? He does.
He liked it. Shooting 279. It's a nice opening game.
Norm Duke now in the high 240s. Parker Bohn, the third, max score 248.
Norm looks like he's taking just a little bit more time. Dead wired. He posts that shot. When he's on, he posts every shot till the ball hits the pins.
Yes, sir.
He does not move. I try to teach my students that. Don't move. You get to see the entire ball motion, where it crosses the arrows, down your break point, the way it goes through the pins. You know how to make adjustments after that.
Now Norm only needs a mark in the 10th frame to advance and take on PDW, Pete Weber. Pete awaiting the winner of this match. Game, set, match.
It's over.
So, Tom, you're starting to sound a lot like me with your predictions, because I'm never right.
Well, I don't know, what, the 20% chance?
Well, you know what? It wasn't a bad bet either.
Yeah, I'll take him in a pinch any day of the week.
Absolutely, especially being the only southpaw, and Parker coming off of a top 5 last week in the Villages. But Norm Duke's going to move on and take on Pete Weber. 75 titles coming up in our next match on the national tour between Norm Duke and Pete Weber.
They'll be playing 2 different lines, I bet.
Yeah, Pete's going to be inside and swinging it.
Oh,
and Norm's probably going to keep.
He's going to soft-hand it as long as he can.
Exactly right. Until you see that flat 10.
Right. Then he's moving.
He leaves more than one flat 10, he's going to move in and start wristing it.
So do you think there's a chance that they can use too much surface trying to break this pair down, to break the transition?
That's a great point, but then you also have to consider rev rates, right? So with these rev rates, I think you can do that and still maintain enough integrity and still create a good enough shot. Whereas you look at the regular tour, the rev rates are so high when you go out with this much surface, the lanes blow apart in a game and a half, and that's including practice. So by game 1, the fronts start to hook, the players move in, they get wet dry. I mean, it turns into a mess. But these rev rates here are just medium to low rev rates, and I think if you get these players playing the same part of the lane, they break them down really nice.
The key was their same part of the lane.
Right, if they're playing the same part of the lane. Now look at Duke moving in.
Yeah, he's
going to test the waters inside.
He's going to see what Pete's going to have in there. He's going to. Well, if they burn up a spot down lane, they got a hook spot, and it opens that break point up a little bit. You got some miss room.
We'll see what he does on this shot here if he moves back to the right and soft hands it. One more stroke. Oh, no, it looks like he's even farther left. Wow, this is incredible.
And wristed it even more.
Yeah. Now, here's my question to you. Now what do you do?
Because both of those shots look great. So are you going to play Pete's game or are you going to play your game?
All right, so if it was me right now, I would throw that same shot. I'd stand in the same spot, and I'd move my eyes like 3 right and see how far right I could get it and still get it back to the pocket.
You're not going to change balls?
No, same ball.
Same ball?
Yep. I want to see how much room I've got to the right now. And there you have it, right there. You see how that ball labored?
Yep.
All right. Randy Peterson, Tom Carter, Phil Brylow, Curtis Von Kruger coming back with our next matchup featuring one of the great ones, PDW. Stay with us, folks. All right, we are set for our next match featuring that man Norm Duke and PDW Pete Weber. Randy Peterson, Tom Carter, Phil Brylow, Curtis Von Kruger bringing you the action here from Mooresville, North Carolina.
What a beautiful center. Anybody's going to build one, you need to come down here and look at this place. How many times these guys bowled each other?
Great question. Now, we were talking during the break after watching Norm's Phil shot in the 10th frame where he moved way in, and Tom and I were talking about how Norm was going to attack this pair, and based off of what we saw Pete Weber doing, Tom, we thought it would be best if Norm went right back to where he was.
Right, because we know that Pete's going to play in, and that spot down lane is going to open up. I think Norm needs to stay out there as long as he can until he flat tens. Then he's going to move in and do what he does. He's going to do some tricks. Pete's very comfortable playing in, and he's going to be there if he can.
Pete was the higher seed, so he chose to have Norm Duke finish on the right lane. The last couple of shots in practice, Pete went high on that lane, but that shot there was nothing but high flush. Weber, 37 tour titles, Duke, 38 tour titles, but when it comes to senior wins, well, Weber's the king at 11.
Classic style of Pete Weber. Long swing, open hand. You know, it's funny, we always talk about knee bend, but you look at Pete at the foul line, he's got moderate knee bend. He's not over knee bent.
Yeah.
You know, pretty tall at the line, which you don't really see a whole lot of players do.
Well, he's not that tall of a guy, so he can get away with it, but you're right. You know, I look at the angle of his spine and then his knee bend, and to me everything fits perfectly, kind of like this guy.
And Norm's obviously a little shorter, not much, but a little shorter, but he's got a much deeper knee bend, and that's probably what hurt your knee. You're a lot taller, and you have a deep knee bend.
Had to get lower.
You and Steve Cook. There's another guy that had a deep knee bend.
Unbelievable knee bend, but Steve Cookie's like 6'7".
Right.
Unbelievable legs on that guy. Man, back in the day, did anybody get lower than Steve Cook?
I don't think so.
Great shot here by Norm, and both players perfect to start. The winner will take on last week's champ, Lennie Boresch, and Brian Voss, the #1 seed.
And Lenny's won in this house before.
Yeah, Lenny's won 3 times in the Villages, once here.
Right.
So he's either going to move to Florida or North Carolina.
Well, he told me league started next week in Florida, so.
Perfect. And there he's back at the thumb hole with the tape.
How can you change tape that many different times?
You know, it's just an idiosyncrasy that he has of messing with that tape and making sure the feel's perfect. You know, we're talking about a guy who, when he drills his bowling ball, takes it right off the press.
Right.
There's zero bevel.
On any of those holes.
Anywhere.
There is no grab on that at all. There was only one other guy, you probably know him, that fiddled with tape as much, that I know. Arnie Goldman.
You and I might know who it is, but nobody else does. At least none of our viewers do.
Well, some of them do,
yeah,
I'm sure.
Well, okay, you're right. Red hot start for both players. Let's see if Weber can continue to strike. Now, I think the right lane is iffy for Pete, and that's why he chose to finish on the left.
He's got some serious grit on that ball also. IQ Sonic, which normally comes, it's pearl ball, comes pretty shiny.
Comes shiny.
Comes really shiny.
Yeah.
And that ball's really dusty.
Yeah, and that ball looks like Pete's been throwing it in the parking lot for a while. Beautiful
and that's
shot.
just how much volume is out here, especially in the front part of the lane. If that ball doesn't pick up and start turning, I don't care how many revs you got, and if you got too much speed, you're throwing it right through the break point.
Yep. So if you're wondering why the players put surface on the ball, folks, it's to slow it down so the ball will actually read the lane surface.
A ball can't hook unless it slows down.
Yep. There's got to be some friction created somewhere.
Hey, perfect example, curveballs in baseball are a lot slower than fastballs.
Exactly right. Great point, Tom.
Oh, Pete's pulling the cord, and we got a match.
Would you expect anything different from these two?
No. I mean, the last two shows, this show, last show, all Hall of Famers, and you don't come out on the senior tour thinking, oh, these guys are old, I can whip on these.
You know, and I try to explain this to folks. Well, Randy, why don't you bowl? And I'm like, oh, just because I won 20 years ago and I just shoot it up with these guys and have at it? I'm like, guys, you don't understand how good these players are. I mean, that means I'd have to practice and work my butt off, and then no idea how good these guys are.
And they haven't stopped doing it from day one. I think they just keep on bowling. You know, guys come out here, and we see a lot of great talent come out. You know, people that have worked their whole life, you know, and they've turned 50, and they got a chance to come out, and they throw it great. But, you know, you're bowling against the guys you've seen on TV, and they've got so many tricks, and they do so many things, and they see the lane change 5 frames before you even think about doing anything.
It's a different level.
Unbelievable. You know, guys ask me, like, you know, they ask the super seniors, the 60-year-olds, why are you still out there? Because we still love it. And, you know,
right.
You love the competition, you know. And all of us is kind of like a fairy tale dream. You're hoping that one day you get lucky enough and have a great week and you're on the show.
This was inside of target just enough.
He might make a move.
Yeah. We're gonna see if there is a change coming.
Well, there is a change in tape coming.
Always. This might be one of those matches where first one that missed loses.
You know, something that's different about his tape, he still uses cork.
Yep.
You don't even hardly find cork in a pro shop anymore.
Can you still buy that?
I have to order it.
You have a pro shop back at.
And I have cork, but, you know, when I order it, they're like, what? And I know Walter still uses cork. Yeah. Whoa. He makes his own. He super glues tape to the cork.
Wow. Well, folks, if you're in need of any equipment work, make sure you stop by Wayne Webb's Columbus Bowl and go visit Tom Carter's pro shop there. Tom's got a great pro shop inside that wonderful bowling center.
It's a beautiful center. We got a beautiful shop. Wayne just added big screens down on the masking units.
Weber and Fuego.
Pete's looking a little hungry today.
You know, he just missed the top 5 stepladder finals last week. Parker knocked him out in the last game. Weber looks really solid.
When you get these guys at this caliber and they look comfortable, it's mediocre players don't have a chance.
Yep. Petey was the leader going into position round. The only game he lost. The last 6 games of match play.
He averaged 240. Uh-oh.
Yep. Hey, he'll take it, though, because the 7 was standing for just a brief moment, and Pete's left enough pocket 7-10s this week to last him a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think he's looking forward to any more of those. And now we got a really tight match.
Yep.
If we sheet it, 79-78.
Interesting, he goes to an IQ tour for a spare ball.
So it's still kind of
that's what it was.
It's still kind of a big ball, but it's so much oil there you can still use it to get it down.
Right? All right, let's see what Duke's going to do now. Well, he's going to stay out on this lane.
That kind of surprises me.
It looks like he's cheating it in just a little bit.
Fuzz. And he was crossing roughly, he's still out at 8 at the arrows. I just worry about down lane. He got that quite a bit, I think, down lane.
Yeah.
And, that's when you start pinging 10s. It starts burning up a little bit down there. Just doesn't have enough juice to make that turn.
Tom, how fast did the lanes transition?
Oh, my Lord. You could have a 4-bagger and the lanes transitioned, and there was no clue that it was coming, and your next shot could have been big 4, and you go, I didn't see it coming.
Gotcha.
I bowled with Scott Greiner, who almost made the show, and Stoney Baker, and both of them bowled great all week, but they had that scenario where they're throwing strikes, and out of the clear blue, big 4, 7-10. Like, what happened? And they threw it great. And from pair to pair, since there was so much oil, when you move pairs, you didn't know if you were going to move 3 left or 3 right or stay in the same spot. Your first shot was, got to start from where I was at and go from there. Pete's got that look in his eyes like, it's all mine. He'll start talking to the pins here in a minute.
Yeah, this is a match that's obviously going to come down to the ladder frames, but Pete knows that he has to strike on this ball to keep from getting shut out.
He's got just such great rhythm, and I think that's a big thing out here. You watch guys that have rhythm like Norm and Pete and Parker. It's just so easy to repeat shots because their rhythm is just unbelievable. They're fun to watch.
And great touch. Both players, just incredible touch.
Soft at the bottom of the swing. You don't see them try to jerk the eyes out of it, And for the young kids today, a lot of them think that they got to hit it so hard to make it hook, and you don't have to. You got to let it roll off your hand. It's hard to get through to some of them. But every now and then you run into that one individual who gets it. That started up way sooner, didn't you think?
It looked like it was a little bit right, but I'll tell you what, this is a terrible break for Norm Duke. That's terrible.
That 4-pin just slams right in front of the 7.
Now, folks, it's certainly not over. Norm Duke's going to make this 7-pin, and then he's going to try to strike out in the 10th.
Throwing a no-rules pearl. Spare ball.
Excuse me. He's going to spare here, strike in the 9th, and set up the 10th.
I knew what you meant.
I was told there would be no math.
Possible 257 if he takes it off the sheet. Still looking at 279 for Pete if he could take it off the sheet. This next shot for Norm is very, very huge. Norm's doing the math now. He's looking up at the score going, this shot means a lot.
What a match.
Was that farther right than the last shot?
A little bit.
Maybe from where I'm sitting, but it looked like it was farther right.
Just a little, but he knows that he can't get this in because if he gets it in, it goes through the face.
Well, this pattern, you couldn't get anything in early because then it would hook.
He looked like a statue on that shot. All right, Weber. Ball game right here if he strikes. Remember, the winner will take on Lennie Boresch, last week's winner. Oh, did that look good? Boy, did that look good immediately out of his hand.
That was super pure. And if anybody's watching that wants to try to emulate somebody, if you pick either one of these guys, you're not going to go wrong. Because, young people say, I'd like to throw it like him. But, and there's a lot of people come in my pro shop and go, I throw it like Pete Weber. And I go,
no, you don't.
Really?
Yeah, no, you don't.
I got to go watch.
All right, strike. In the words of this one commentator, strike to claim it. No way.
No.
Well,
that was short off of his hand.
Short and left. Now, Pete must convert the 310 and then strike on his fill to force Norm to strike all 3 shots in the 10th for a tie. Right there, he was hoping.
He's in his mind going, I can't even believe I threw that shot.
Now, Weber's an extremely good spare shooter. Oh, he's going to hook it. I don't know about this move, Tom. Oh, missed it. Didn't like it. I like the straight. As good a spare shooter as he is.
I wouldn't. I'm surprised he did that.
Norm, first strike, 9 spare, will move on. And just like that, what a turn of events.
Wow.
First strike here for Norm Duke. 9 spare. He wins by a pin. A double, obviously, is even better. Remember, last time up on this lane, stone 7 for Duke. Otherwise, this match is over. Voss coming over to take a look.
Yeah, Voss he's adding up the score going, huh?
Wow, talk about new life.
Yeah.
I promise you he thought he was dead in the water when Duke got up in the 10th, or when Weber got up in the 10th. Oh, it's up the lane.
Up, it's high.
It was up the lane and it froze.
I thought it would be face, and it wasn't. It froze. He's like, hold, whoa.
The only thing that would have cost him there was a ring 10, and that's normally what you leave when you get in the oil line a little bit. Now, 9 on this next ball, he cannot lose. He can tie, but he can't lose.
We have the possibility of a tie. So is he going to make an adjustment on that lap?
No.
He's just going to throw it the same.
He's just going to pure it.
That was 2 totally different shots.
It
one
was.
High flush and one half pocket.
It was. One bad shot by Weber. Cost him. But let's not forget the stone 7 that Norm left in the 8th frame. This looked like it was missed just a hair at the bottom. That ball barely picked up.
I didn't think it was going to strike at all. It didn't look like it was going to make it to the pocket hardly. And didn't last year Norm run the ladder for this title?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So we're kind of having the same scenario. On to our next match. Norm Duke facing the red-hot hand of Lennie Boresch.
All right, folks, here we are in our semifinal match. Randy Peterson along with Tom Carter, Phil Brylow, and Curtis Von Kruger. A rematch of last week's title match. Norm Duke taking on Lennie Boresch. This is one of your 2 picks, Tom.
Well, yeah.
It's your last chance.
Thanks.
The winner will move on to face tournament leader Brian Voss.
A hometown boy now.
Currently residing about 8 miles from here. Does all of his teaching and clinics here at George Pappas Victory Lanes. So Norm Duke will start us off. He'll finish the match on the right lane.
And he's still playing out. Oh, that could have been real ugly. He's playing in Lennie's territory right now because Lennie's going to be out.
So, Tom, what's the move? Does he stay there and firm up the speed? Or does he move in and start to hook it?
I think he should move in and start to hook it because he's really good at it. And that spot's burned up down lane, and he's got a little free area to miss. What do you think he's going to do?
If he moves in and starts to hook it, does that create or wreak havoc with what Lennie Boresch is going to do?
It can. Yes, it can.
And why is that?
Because you're going to be taking the heavy oil out of the center of the lane, pushing it a little bit to the right, and it could affect Lennie's break point, just a fuzz. Again, we had a guy on our pair that was actually pointing it off of the corner, and after about 5-6 frames, Stoney's going, you think him pointing it off the corner is messing with our shot because it just got tighter and tighter down lane?
Now, you called Lennie Boresch the best, worst bowler on the 50 tour?
No.
Or somebody did.
Yeah, it's just he's the most unassuming bowler that you would ever see. You see him bowl and you go, okay, because you see all these other guys, and he will absolutely sneak up behind you.
Yeah.
And don't bowl him for money.
Yeah,
you're going to lose.
He's the silent assassin out here. When you watch him bowl, I think a great phrase or a great way to describe Lennie is unassuming. He really is, but you don't want any part of Lennie Boresch.
No. I mean, his focus and repeatability of shots is insane.
And he's got that different roll, where it looks like he comes off dead side of it.
It looks like he's a full roller.
It really does.
If you watch his backswing, he's on the side of the ball and he's back through it. It looks like he's doing a full roller.
What is Duke going to do?
Lennie's already starting out with a double, and Duke has to know that Lennie can strike in the clutch. So,
he found that out last week.
Yeah,
he's still there. Maybe just a little more speed, Tom.
You called it more speed, and it's kind of funny. He's still throwing surface. Lennie's throwing surface too, but he's throwing a pearl ball with surface.
Yep.
And this match could go anywhere because both these guys, at one point, Lennie today had 16 in a row on this shot, and the shot wasn't that easy. And guys are like, it's
amazing.
Where's he coming from? He shoots 268 to get in to the match play round. Then he shoots 279 in the fifth game to catapult into the top 5.
Here's a good one.
That style is just, I guess, timeless. Dead post is a shot. You'd like to see all the bowlers do that if they could.
Last week, Norm Duke led the tournament at the Villages by 200, only to lose by a couple to this man right here. Oh, my.
Ooh. That was in at the Arrows. To me, it looked like about another board and a half. And he could have picked up some oil and just didn't make it.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, a blower 4-pin? What is that? That's just bad carry.
It's bad luck.
Right?
Now, he throws a spare ball like he is throwing a full roller because it thumps over every hole that it's got.
Oh, tremendous. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If nothing else, Lennie Boresch last week proved that he isn't intimidated by anyone.
Lennie is, and we talk about it out here all the time. The guy's like, I got to bowl this guy. I got to bowl this guy. You're bowling the pins. The heck with the opponent. He doesn't care how many titles you got. He's doing his game. He figures you got to do whatever you're doing. Just that little stutter step he's got, that tiny step, and unloads on it because his timing's. He has to do that because otherwise his timing's way off.
Delayed into the push away. The first two steps are slow.
He's got one of the tiniest power steps, I think, in the game.
All right, Norm Duke working on a double.
You see Norm fiddling with those fingers, just getting that feel just right before he gets set. And then once he's set, his focus is incredible.
Got that one a little right.
I'm waiting for the move. I mean, he practiced it, and he struck every time he went in. I can't believe he hasn't went there yet.
And I was wondering when he was going to go back to the bevel knife, and he's going to it right after that ball comes out of the ball return. And there we go.
You called it. And he doesn't use full pieces of tape. I
No.
mean, he uses like little quarter-inch
Yep.
pieces. He rips them up into shreds.
And you know what I call that? That's just amazing feel, a very sensitive feel. You know, back when I was on tour and I was drilling balls in the truck, I could tell you if my span was an eighth of an inch off, long or short. Some guys they could go a 16th.
I think he'll go 64th. Keith has told me
this guy would probably go a 64th.
He can feel if drill another one that's not right.
Think about it, a 64th of an inch, folks.
And like most of the guys out here, they have a favorite layout. He's got like a favorite layout that he likes to use with the pin up, the CG out just a little bit. I think he likes half, 5/8 positive. You know, he's got these things in his head that he likes, and every ball's the same way in, and that's the way he wants to drill them. And he's got so many wrist positions and ball speeds, he manipulates the lane with that. Guys are drilling 85 balls out here trying to get the right shape, and he does it with his hand.
That's correct. It's a great point. Yeah, finally got him.
He's got to move. If he doesn't, he's going to be in trouble because Lennie's shot is going to stay there. Lennie, all he's going to do, if he moves a little, he's just going to pick up his speed. He's just going to stay there.
This isn't that bad, really. But I think that Lennie is just far enough left of where Norm's playing, and he just burned up what little hold Norm had. I think you're right. I think he moves in and starts to hook it now.
I can't believe that he won't. We've seen pins bounce out, but I've never seen any pins bounce out and pick up another pin. They came up the lane and up the gutter, but they never went across the lane to pick up a split. And I think we're talking about drilling balls. I think a lot of the young guys, you know, they try to drill balls to create shape. They don't do as many wrist positions and tricks with their hand as some of the older players did. They're to do now because back then they didn't have all those balls to drill. Did that just go Brooklyn?
I couldn't see it.
Because he's pointing left. He stood up right in the way. I couldn't see.
No.
No?
That's high flush.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Brooklyn there.
No Brooklyn.
To increase the lead, Lennie Boresch, left lane.
That's 7-10.
Hello. We got a new ball game, folks. Especially if Norm's going to move in and try to hook it, Tom.
Yeah, Pete almost left one. He did leave one.
On that same lane.
Yep. The ball just did not read the back end at all.
Now, in my opinion, this is the worst break in bowling.
It is.
Thank you.
It is. And you hit the pocket, and you're going, how is that possible?
And you get an open frame.
Yeah, I'm throwing 15 pins that direction. I can't knock down a 7-pin.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense. But it just comes in behind the head pin just enough that it slices pins. It doesn't move them in the right direction.
Norm Duke stepping up in the 6th frame with a double here in the 6th and 7th. This match will be all tied up.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I think we have a ball change. That was his spare ball.
Yep, he's going to a different ball.
That's a no rules pearl.
Moving in. He's going to hook it. Nope, staying out. He went with something that's a little bit cleaner in the same spot. You like that?
No, I still like him moving in. I think that spot's done. I might be wrong, but I think that spot's done. Now, that part of being the ball rep out here, you know, and you try to help the guys because you can see so much from back here, and what they see at the foul line and what we see are, you know, obviously two different things.
Agreed.
And you try to tell them sometimes they don't listen, but you know, a spot's gone. No, I just didn't get out of that one right. No, that spot's gone.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Lennie Boresch is going to miss the pocket?
No, I do not.
Another ball change for Norm Duke. Now is he going to move in and hook it?
I think he went to a phase 2. In the position round match, he went to that ball and went in.
Same spot, different ball. Tom, why is he not getting out of that zone?
I'm totally befuddled because as great a player as he is, and you've seen 3 shots now on that left lane go through the face. Wouldn't you move away from that at some point? I would think that he would start circling it. I mean, he's got one more frame left on that lane, doesn't he?
One more shot left on that lane. You are correct. But he can't strike on the right lane now either. Do you think it's unusual? Do you think it has anything to do with the residue from last week when he tried so many different things? Is this the reason why he hasn't changed zones yet?
No, that's a good point. I mean, it could be, but it's hard to believe that he's letting the past come back to. You learn from it, but I don't. From what he's seen off camera, what we've seen when he went in and threw some practice shots inside and just labeled them, you would think that he'd go, okay, I need to move now. Because if he moves in, he's going to be playing a totally different shot than Lennie. And I think there's enough friction out there, the ball's going to come back. I mean, that spot opened up down lane. They burn it up. Well, I think Lennie's a little befuddled, too, because he's pacing to a certain extent. We're having technical difficulty on the lane.
Yeah, I think they got it. For me right now, I think that the only chance Norm has of winning this game is if Lennie doesn't strike on this ball and if Norm changes zones.
I agree. I think Norm's got to do what he did in those practice frames and move in. He moved in, and he moved in deeper, and he struck both shots.
Beauty. Exactly what you're supposed to do. Given the chance, you get on your opponent and you stay on him.
It looked like he threw that harder, and it's what he did against Norm last week. He just kind of fired at the pocket. I'm just going to kind of change my angle, start it up, and throw it harder. So, he's still got the no rules, or he's got the exist in his hand. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to stay out, isn't he?
Yeah, he hasn't moved. He hasn't moved in yet. Same zone.
Man, I wouldn't want to bet the farm on that shot striking again in there. Well, and he's going to finish on that lane.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he truly believes that it's not the correct move to move in and start opening the lane up. That's his mindset right now.
Well, from all of your experiences being on the show, as many times as you've been on the show, what do you think?
I mean, I'll tell you, it really is hard to argue with a guy like Norm Duke. I think he's waiting for a re-rack, but I don't know how you pry it off of your hand after going through the nose 2 or 3 times in a row on this lane without changing and without making a big change.
Right. Well, 2 of his shots went through the nose, and Lennie's 7-10'd. So there's 3 shots in a row. What's he going to do?
I have no idea, honestly. He might stay where he was, where he went through the nose, and just throw it harder.
Well, and as tiny as he is, because he is small compared to a lot of us out here, throwing 16 pounds too.
Yes.
I couldn't throw 16 pounds harder if I wanted to. I can't even throw 14 pounds hard.
I have no idea what we're waiting on, but I think it was a pin in the back that was spinning. All right, we're set. What is the move? Lennie Boresch in complete control of this match, but Norm Duke still alive.
Looked like he picked up his speed a little bit, but he's a little bit farther left, I think. Maybe a couple boards, but he definitely threw it a little bit firmer through the shot. And that's why you post shots, so you can read lanes. If you're bouncing around and falling down as you're throwing a shot, you have no idea what that ball did.
Yeah, you have no idea what target it rolled over. All right, Lennie Boresch steps up. Pretty good lead here, but he can increase it. The strike here in the 9th, working on a double.
Uh-oh. He didn't like it. He stood up on it, and it just packed the pocket.
Was it left of target?
It looked like it was left. That was high flush again. You give it the little gut punch right there. Like, okay, I got it.
He's in the 220s now. Max score for Norm Duke, 223. He's going to take a re-rack, I believe.
There were a lot of re-racks this week.
Lennie Boresch looking to go back-to-back weeks.
He never looks excited. He never looks nervous. The only time he looked excited was last year when he won at the Villages. That little arm thing, the fist pump.
It was great.
And this year, the knee slide. I said, what's next year? I mean, we got to come up with a new thing.
Wow.
You can't count this guy out. He's the real deal.
Well, you can count Norm Duke out because that puts Lennie in the 230s, and he's going to face Brian Voss for the title. And the 6 slap in the 10 out. Keep in mind, folks, that some of these players have bowled for 15 straight days.
Right. This first swing was unbelievable. And if you bowled we started out with a regional in Sarasota, and if you bowled that, these guys have got 70, 80 games with the practice and stuff under their belt, straight. And we started the 18th of April. There has been no break.
Talk about cruelty to senior citizens.
Oh. And they say seniors can't bowl more than 3 games.
Right? Well, another great week for Norm. 2nd last week, 3rd this week.
Lennie's got his number. My horse is still in.
Your horse is still alive.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a prediction and say that Voss is going to be left of him and hooking it in the title match.
I think that's a no-brainer because he played left the whole tournament. And he's going to be using a shiny no-rules pearl, I bet, too.
Hard to say what happened with Norm in the middle of this game because his zone is really still the same. He went through actually 3 different balls in one game, and he's going to end up losing by just about 10 pins. But it's just hard to say what he was feeling, what he was seeing.
Well, obviously, he's seen something different than what we've seen here, thinking that he was unbelievable.
To me, it looks like he just paralleled left everything.
Right, and just kept it firm.
And I guarantee you, he wasn't sure that would play. I'm thinking that he thought if he paralleled in, that he was going to find more hook.
Right, he's going to hook early.
Right.
Exactly.
Because now he's moving right into where Weber was playing.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see what Voss does if he's paid attention to this match.
Straight up second arrow, folks. And there you have it. Conclusion of our semifinal match. Lennie Boresch takes down Norm Duke, 232-222. The title match coming up between Brian Voss and the man on the left, Lennie Boresch, looking to go back-to-back weeks. Lots more to come from Mooresville, North Carolina. Stay with us. And we are back for the title match here in Mooresville. The PBA50 Mooresville Open presented by Columbia 300. Randy Peterson, Tom Clark, Tom Clark. Tom Carter. I've always got Tom Clark on the brain, our commissioner. Phil Brylow and Curtis Von Kruger bringing you the final match. Lennie Boresch looking to go back-to-back weeks with a win. Brian Voss, the hometown favorite, Tom, looking for a second PBA 50 title.
Yeah, this is his first stop this year on the senior swing, and he's tournament leader. And he's throwing the ball absolutely fantastic, and he's been animated all week. It's fun to watch. That didn't look as clean off of his hand as I think he wanted it.
Had a little set up and stop shot there.
Yeah, that little hook set there.
Yep. Brian Voss has chosen to finish on the left lane. I think that's a great strategy, don't you?
I think so. I mean, he's going to be in. I know he's going to be in. He's going to be hooking it, and I think that's a good thing for him to do on that left lane, because trying to go straight, unless you're really good at being straight, I think it's a bad move.
Remember how many shots the last match that Lennie threw on that right lane where he didn't like it and ended up dead flush.
Wow. I didn't see that coming. I mean, where his feet were at, I figured he's going to be in between third and fourth arrow. He really opened up the front part of the lane. He went around, 12 and got it out quick. And then slaps the 4 in front of the 7.
Yeah. Well, not a very good break to start the title match.
Well, in his practice shots, he had a couple that went right through the face, so I think he tried to open up the lane a little bit. But I thought he would try to open up the back end, but he opened up the front.
Yeah, he really did. When he went sideways through the front, pretty good on that first shot. So which angle do you like best? Do you like straighter is greater with Lennie Boresch, or you like the angle that Brian Voss is playing?
I got my horse. I like straighter is greater.
All right.
We have a guy out here that's got 107 titles. That straighter greater has been pretty good for him for most of the time. But our eyes like to see the ball make that move on the back end. It's just fun to watch.
That's it.
Beauty.
Yep.
Should be a double.
The distinctive walk of Brian Voss back from the approach, a little head shake.
Yep. Great shot. He's like, no, solid 7 there. How dare you?
Lennie hasn't moved at all. He's either going to just pipe it, what he does best, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and the thing that Lennie's doing is he's kicking the 10 out. We've seen, how many times did we see it in the last match on the left lane where the 6 kicked the 10 out? And, you think about how many times you watch this pin action here where the 6 goes to the sidewall and catches enough of the 10 to knock it over. Think about how many times he's done that and how it's affected his score.
Well, he's been able to get it done where a lot of guys were hitting the pocket what they felt the same way, and all they did was leave 10 pin after 10 pin after 10 pin.
And a lot of weak 10s.
Oh, yeah. He's got the touch and the angle. It's a matchup of obviously release and speed and ball surface, but he's matching up unbelievably.
And, of course, as soon as we talk about it, it leaves a ring 10.
Yes. But that's what, and that's happened a lot where this whole week the ball looked great going to the pocket, and it just left 10 pin. You're kind of befuddled, kind of like, I thought I threw that pretty good.
Well, that was a good shot. The curse of Bo. Talk about how good his carry is. Next thing you know, he wraps a 10.
Hasn't missed a spare all week. Thud.
Yep. All right. Brian Voss now can step up, third and fourth frame with strikes and take an early lead.
So what's he going to do on this right lane?
Well, I'd like to see a little bit less angle through the front.
I thought he just threw it too far right. He just missed it. But obviously he intended to do that. Last week, I understand. Pattern was shorter, and we had 18 games of no re-oil, and guys were like firing it through the front part of the lane. Okay.
You see how lazy that was? Is that why he wants to create more angle through the front to get it to the dry sooner?
But I didn't think it was going to make it back. He had so much angle through the front, and it looked like it was going to stop before it got to the pocket.
Maybe it was just a little miss at release.
Okay.
I mean, did the zone look similar to you?
The zone looked the same.
But yet that ball was lazy getting back.
Right, very.
So I'm going to go with maybe he missed it just a hair.
Okay.
Now, to take the lead.
I really expected him to tighten that line up on that right lane. Again, that's what we see back here, and what he sees at the line. His angles through the front isn't near as steep on the left lane. Not even close.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say 2 real fortunate hits. These last 2 shots for Brian. The hometown favorite, crowd behind him.
Well, hometown favorite, and he knows the lanes. Let's go with that.
I love it. What he said.
He's crossing right at 10-11. He's inched in because it's not a big move. He's inched in. And if you had those 2 shots side by side, Brian going this way through the front part of the lane and Lennie going that way through the front part of the lane.
To me, Lennie is the epitome of a saying made famous by Babe Ruth. Nothing tougher than beating a guy who never gives up.
Right.
And that, to me, kind of sums up Lennie Boresch.
He never quits. He's fun to watch because when he gets on a strike roll, oh my God, he strikes forever. And he makes tough shots look simple.
I am not sure, folks, what is happening down lane. I can't see it.
I think he changed balls, didn't he? Or no?
I don't think so.
Or maybe he picked up the same ball. You ever done that? Picked up the wrong ball, threw it, and went,
oh, yeah.
oh,
yeah.
He just threw the wrong ball.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, he sneaks up on you, and you don't know he's coming.
And, you know, for you Brian Voss fans out there, you may not like my next comment, but I got to be honest with you. Right now, if we had to pick a winner, I think Lennie Boresch is a little more convincing through 5 frames.
I do, too. I'm not so sure after – I'm still not convinced the first 2 shots of what Brian did on the right lane. It just seemed so steep out of the front. Then the shot on the left lane was so far in. And if he's playing him that way, he sees something totally different than what anybody else on this pair's done. And if he does see that and he plays it and it works, kudos to him because that is amazing. That's why they're Hall of Famers. That shot wasn't as steep. That shot looked like the shot on the left lane, the previous shot. I have to believe that's what he meant to do the first 2 times. It just didn't happen.
You know, for me, watching Brian's reaction, he's so jacked right now that he needs to find a way to kind of get his emotions under control.
Well, you know, he's basically doing coaching now, and he hasn't been out here for a while, and now he's back in the title match, and he's pretty animated anyway.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I get it. I'm just saying. There's a long way to go in this match.
Right.
That needs to hook. Oh, it overhooked.
Oh, my God. That thing went dead left at the back end. He's wanted to go left, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's too far left.
Holy cow. This ball boomerangs in the back part of the lane. That was wide, and look at it check. Wow. Unexpected.
Hooking, it's always pretty to watch, but I don't know.
No. Okay.
You got to be scared of Lennie. He doesn't cover a lot of boards.
You know, the other thing I see about Lennie Boresch's release is that his ball doesn't read the front part of the lane.
Ever.
And that's why, with that low rev rate and that roll, it stores so well, and that's how he's able to kick the 10 out.
And you wouldn't think it would with him being on the side of the ball in his
Right.
backswing and getting back through it the way it's so close to a full roller. You'd think it would hook up quick, and it doesn't. It just scoots.
Yeah.
And he's got such a short approach for a tall guy. That's about as excited as you're going to see him get unless he throws the 1 in the 10th to win.
When he throws the winning shot is when you see him run it out and fist pump and all the acrobatic moves. But right now, Lennie Boresch, he's kind of like a cyborg, just kind of going through the motions.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing. You know, if you're out here and you're getting all amped up and you're sweating and you're not making shots because your body's just going nuts. He's got formaldehyde in his system.
We're all tied up to take the lead by 10. Lennie Boresch left lane. Oh, that was pulled. That was pulled big time.
Yeah,
it had hydroplaned.
And it pulled to the pocket, and I still could have struck.
Wow. But this to me looked like it was left all the way. And I mean, it looked like it was on a sheet of ice until about 55 feet.
I don't think he was real happy with the shot, but he thought it might carry, because he kind of fist pumped that one too. You know.
All right.
And he's not happy with the outcome of that. Brian, he can step up to the bat and kind of hit a home run here.
1 pin lead now for Voss, getting up in the 7th frame.
If he throws a double here, we'll see. He'll be a little more animated. He was fun to watch in the last 2 games. The game before position round, the position round, because he was going at it. Good. He's got that same wiggle wrist that Duke's got. He'll start moving it. There it goes. And it locks in. That was the 410, and they went that way to the right. Now that's the break of the century right there.
Trip 4-7-10 late for Brian Voss. But remember, he left that stone 7 in the first, so maybe they owed him one. Big shot coming up here, Tom Carter.
So he gets back on the right lane. You going to move?
Yeah, I'd move a board.
Okay.
What about this lane? Remember last shot he went 4-pin. Does he move?
This lane hooks anyway. If he doesn't move, I'd be surprised. He's got to move. At least a board. And I think you got to parallel it 1 and 1. You can't just go 1 and 0 because you get back out to the dry spot. I think he moved and got it in, and the ball never read.
Seeing to me, it looked like it was out of his hand poorly.
Yep.
This just didn't look like he got enough of it. And you can tell by the way it reacted down lane that it kind of had that little weak move to it.
Wow.
But that's still a terrible break. Nobody ever wants to see anybody lose like that.
That's the second one we've seen today.
Yep. Just an awful break. Such a big shot.
That changes the whole ball game around.
Yep. Brian still has a possible 237. Lennie Boresch at 228 right now through 7. Match is not over, but Lennie Boresch in complete control now. Up by 11.
This guy is scary good. Unbelievable. Straight up 11. I was wondering if the 10 was there because they didn't sound real good from back here.
Oh, you would have heard a lot deeper ohs if he would have left the 10 with it. Just the 2-pin.
Almost the 2-8, so there's still a match going on. Nothing's easy at this point of the game.
And the problem now for me as an ex-player is I look at Lennie Boresch finishing on this lane. The next time he gets up on that right lane, that thought's going to be in your brain.
Yeah. So
last time up here, I thought I threw it pretty good, and I went 2-pin.
So he couldn't make a move and end up going through the face. I mean, there's way too many things you can think about. Thinking is bad. Go with your gut. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. I think we have a re-rack.
Yeah, re-rack coming for Lennie Boresch.
Yeah, he's telling himself, slow himself down.
And maybe that's just what the 2-pin was. Maybe he just threw it too hard.
Yeah, I think that's what he's telling himself. He just got rushed on that one.
And that's best case scenario for him. Now,
to me, this is still the tricky lane.
If he does not strike on this ball, Brian Voss can still win. Oh, bad shot. Yep.
He lost his leverage. He was tilted at the line. That wasn't a good shot.
Brian Voss can strike out 9th and 10th and win this title.
He just looked like he got tipped too far. He reared up there. And normally when you've been too far forward, you'll always tug the ball.
Not an easy spare conversion or a spare attempt coming up. 3-6-10.
Normally one way to make it, 9 ways to miss it. Textbook.
Good cover. All right, max score now for Lennie Boresch, 234. Brian Voss, 237.
3-pin match.
For Voss to shut out Lennie Boresch, he has to strike on this shot.
All he has to do.
How big now would it have been with just 9 spare the last frame?
Oh. You could breathe a little easier.
Still has a chance.
That was almost a 4-9. Oh, my goodness. So now 227 is max score.
We have a very similar situation than we had last week. If Brian makes the 4-pin, a double and good count will force Lennie Boresch to double.
Right. Well, we've already seen Lennie do it once a week ago. The key here is what is Brian going to do on that left lane after leaving that 7-10. You don't think that he caught all of it? It looked like he was in just a hair. So either way, what's the adjustment?
Well, the last 2 shots on the left lane, pocket 7-10, 4-pin. The 2 previous shots before that, strike. I think Brian right now is just telling himself, you're in the right spot. All you got to do is ace this shot, and it'll get to the pocket.
Make good shots. That's all you can do. You make a good shot, the pins are going to do what they're going to do. You can throw a great ball and not strike. Throw a bad ball and crumble them.
Shot there. All right, one more and 8.
Forces Lennie to double.
Forces Lennie to double. One more just like that and at least 8.
That's all you can hope for is hope that you have to force your partner to execute perfectly in the 10th frame.
Your opponent.
Your opponent. I said partner.
Trust me, there is no partnership right now.
True.
All right. Brian Voss used to do this in your sleep on the big tour. 25 national tour titles, looking for his 2nd senior title.
There we go. He's getting fired up.
What a great shot. And then the 6-pin goes to the sidewall, kicks the 10 out. Brian Voss makes 2 great shots when he needed it most, and now forces Lennie to do the same with at least an 8 count on his fill shot. If he gets 7, Lennie has to strike on the first ball and spare to tie.
We still have another possibility of a tie.
Just make a good shot here and get 9 or 10, and then sit back and see what happens. No defense in this sport. It's fine. More than enough. And again, how big is that pocket 7-10 for Voss in the 8th? If he strikes in that shot, the match is over.
Right.
Lennie Boresch needs a double. A double in 3.
And he has struck 3 previously times, 2, 4, and 6 on this lane. 9 count the other time.
Remember the last time up on this lane, he left the 2-pin. He went light. Oh, he fell off it quick. Brian Voss is your winner.
Wow, Brian Voss wins his 2nd PBA title here in front of the hometown crowd at George Pappas Victory Lanes in Mooresville, North Carolina. Lennie Boresch bowled one heck of a game. Could have had back-to-back titles. Just got a little quick on that last shot. Congratulations to both players, Brian Voss and Lennie Boresch. Randy Peterson will be down on the lanes with an interview with our tournament winner, Brian Voss.
Thank you, John. How about a nice hand for Brian Voss, your champion?
Thank you. Thank you.
Brian, it's first senior event of the year, and I know that now this is pretty much home for you. What does it mean to you to bring home the victory today?
Yeah. You know, I have a very good record with my 2 boys. They happen to be in the audience here. They're sitting back there. And all these people now, I'm getting to know them really well, and I try to teach them how to beat me, you know. I really do. I mean that, but it's a fabulous feeling, Randy. My gosh. Just thank you. Thank you.
Brian, when is your next event? What's your schedule like?
I'm going to bowl the Masters, Senior Masters, Senior U.S. Open, and probably the last 5. I'll be turning 60, so the last 3 I'll be a super senior. But, you know, I love to bowl. I love to bowl. And I tell you what, this is like 30 games the last 3 days. That's the most I bowled in a month. That's a lot of work. But it's a fabulous feeling. You know, I live to win. I really do. I really do.
Almost 60 years of age. And again, another PBA title for the great Brian Voss. You still got it, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Let's send it back.
There is your champion, Brian Voss, 2nd PBA50 title 2 years after his first, and there is going to be a celebration here, as you can see with Brian right now.